Association of India, Shri Bhupinder Singh Ji, Vice President, Mr. Vinay Kotik, Additional Vice President, and Kotik's name is quite familiar. I've learned a lot from Suresh Bhai, honestly speaking. Whenever I meet him, it's my privilege to really pay my respect to him, because the kind of role which he has played in promoting cotton, and even today he remains active at this age. He is far senior to me, the Secretary of the Association, distinguished guests coming from all over India. It's our privilege and honor to receive you to the Corporate Office of Bardhaman. And I thank also for the association for deciding to hold this meeting and give us this privilege, pleasure to receive you over here. As the President has said about me, about my cotton, I just thought to give you my experience. In the beginning, my father sent me in 1966 when I joined business in the month of September, October to Fazilka and Lahore. And I used to stay there for a few months, just because my father felt cotton is the most important material and you have to learn the art or trade of cotton. So my interest grew over this period, and I used to meet merchants and I used to buy the cotton, seed cotton. In those days, it was not being auctioned, it was being purchased under the wrap, Ane, Paddu Bhai, whatever those mayors were. So, and we used to do engineering also. So my interest grew in a cotton, understanding about the length and various parameters, strength and mic, variation, short fiber. Of course, in those days, we do not have the same kind of equipment to test the cotton as now Worcester has developed and many other companies have followed suit. I think I am very deep, but I will not, my experience will not match with your experience, because day in and day out, you are only looking at cotton, and cotton is your breath and cotton is your food, is it not? I think that's not the case, because we have multilateral problems in textile industry. We are using synthetics also, but cotton remains the dominant fiber that even today Bardhaman uses. And we buy almost 16 lakh bales per year from India, or all over consumption. See that I like to give you the user's perspective and my own projection as I envisage the future may turn out to be. And the challenges that it is posing, and which we need to meet unless we fall or fail, honestly speaking. Because in the last 2 years we have seen that industry, of course world over there was a sluggishness in demand. As a result, most of the industry suffered. Even Vietnam was running at 50 to 70% capacity in 22. But now the turning point has come, but we are not seeing that turning point in the Indian textile industry, because still, there are certain issues which I like to raise. So I am therefore giving you the perspective that I have in my long career in textile about how the fortunes of textile is very intimately related to cotton in our national context. This conference may give you the opportunity to think seriously not only the current state of affairs where the textile industry has faced in the last 2 years, the decline in the margins, as it is reflected all over the balance sheets. If you see, the normal margin used to be PBDIT as 15 to 16%. Today we are 9 to 11%, which is, in my view, not adequate for the industry to sustain itself in terms of technological changes. And how the future unfolds before us with certain predictive scenarios to evolve based on the policies and the competitive strengths that we can gain. India has emerged second largest cotton yarn producer after China. This is a fact. This is reflected from the statistics. We consume all around about 9.3 million tons of fiber, and which consists of 5.9 million tons of cotton, the rest is man-made fibers, and some natural fiber, 1.9 million tons, which may be jute and other factors. China, on the other hand, has gained the largest share in the world with a total fiber consumption of 26 million tons, including 8 million tons of cotton. So they are the largest consumer of cotton than even India. Though their balance sheet is not so strong in terms of production of cotton, because their production has come down, and but even then, I mean, they import cotton, and they import a lot of cotton yarn also. They are a net importer of cotton yarn. This clearly shows that the cotton share in India to the total fiber consumption by the industry is more than 50%, while in China it is 30%. Now, more the share of cotton and much bigger fluctuation in the cotton fortunes will reflect on us, because we are the sufferers then as industry. So, I am emphasizing this because man-made fiber prices normally do not fluctuate wildly. At best, in 6 or 8 months or 10 months, if there is a fluctuation upward, more production capacity will come in to bridge the gap, and prices will come back to margin. There is a very lot of competitiveness in the synthetic industry, unless governments will protect through the higher tariffs walls that they can create for defending their own industry, or as it happens at times. As the fortunes of that man-made does not fluctuate on the nature's vagaries. Now, this is one of the very factor to be reckoned with, that crop has, in spite of the best protection, best season, but in India and elsewhere, even in USA, this year we are expecting a much bigger crop compared to last year. Abandonment was very high last year, and this year they are estimating abandonment is one of the lowest, because water in the soil is available, rains have happened, sowing is going on at full speed, and I think they are estimating more than 16 million bales, which will be one of the highest from the last year, which was I think in the range of about 13 or 13.5. So, by big fluctuations, at the same time it depicts the relevance of cotton in the context of textile industry in India. Big fluctuation in cotton prices or the availability of cotton therefore has far more bearing on the Indian cotton textile, in the textile industry. Well, I have drawn a comparison between China and India, but we cannot ignore or lose sight of the fact that originally we were both competitors. If you look back at 2005 to 10, because I am 58 years having experience in textile, I have been studying this data since beginning. That my statistics are a little, because I was the gold medalist in statistics in my department when I did my MCom. It was my pet subject. So, and it's a, what happens is that in this period, Bangladesh and Vietnam had come and taken a big lead over India, not in terms of overall capacity, but in the share of world trade. Now, they have built competitive strengths. And you'll be surprised that Vietnam is the second largest exporter of cotton yarn. Out of 1,550 million kgs of yarn they are exporting in all fibers taken together, 56% accounts for cotton yarn. And they are the second largest. And the biggest buyer is China, which they have replaced us. So therefore, the ecosystem in Vietnam seems to be far more favorable compared to what we may be having there, because smaller the country, a better is the interaction between the business and the industry. Larger the country, it becomes difficult for the leader even to comprehend so many states problems, so many issues. So question is, how can we, it is our mistake or it is our fault or our failure if we cannot reach them and convince them or bring our factor, bring our cost, our problems before them and try to get a convincing solution about that. So, Vietnam has grown, Bangladesh, the exports is touching near about $50 billion. And it is not that they are only making garments, But today this is an integrated industry. Backward integration has happened. And some of the spinning mills are exporting yarn also, they are competitive. They may be buying cotton from India, but other factor costs are equally important. Cotton is one major factor which is, as I say, 50 to 55%, but wage cost, power cost. They used to have gas, but now gas is more costlier over there. I think they are trying to set up more thermal plants in Bangladesh. But they have set a goal of $100 billion by 2030. Our the textile minister set a goal of $100 billion. When a goal of $50 billion was set long back, if you remember, by the ministry before 2014, I had gone to the secretary. At that time I was more active. And so I asked her, how do you intend to achieve it? वो सवाल जी सदा ऊंचा गोल रखना चाहिए, आदमी अपने आप अचीव कर लेता है। मैंने कहा साहब अपने आप तो कुछ भी नहीं होता, अपने आप तो खाना भी नहीं खाया जा सकता जब तक हम हाथ नहीं डालेंगे थाली में, तो खाना कैसे खाएंगे? तो कोई प्लान बनाया आपने, कोई कैसे बेस बनाया, but no such concrete plan was available. I was shocked. Goals to be set in the air does not have any means for achievement. You have to have a complete plan and then assignment of roles, responsibilities, reviews, resources, all that is necessary. And what I have found is China sets a goal, they achieve it. Bangladesh set a goal, and you take it from me that they will achieve $100 billion exports by 2030. Already they are exceeding $50 billion. And 2005, they were only $8 billion. And now they have overtaken us. We were the largest after China. We were the second largest, share in the world trade at that time. And today, Bangladesh is the second largest. Vietnam is the third largest. We are the fourth largest. So we need to understand where we are. When we talk overall capacity, 40, 50 million spindles, but that's the size of our country is very big. And population requirement, so our internal requirement, but if so far as the world trade goes, we are lagging behind. And Vietnam's share in 2005 was 1.18%, and Bangladesh was 1.58%, and today they are crossing 5%, while we are from 3.54%, we have jumped to 3.98%. From 2005 to 2022-23. So can you imagine the kind of jump that we have made? From 3.54% to 3.98%. Is it a credible growth? Sometimes you see to face the realities. Appreciation, I like criticism always first. If two executives seek time, one is going complaint and second is praise, I say first complaint, second praise. Adulation and praise doesn't have the man to rebuild yourself. It is only the little amount of constructive variation, degrees of difference of opinion which can be brought before. So this is a scenario I am trying to build. As it exports, notwithstanding the fact that we are becoming less and less competitive in relative sense, but the cotton Indian context plays a vital role in determining our future growth and viability. This is also very important, as the President Ratnamji has emphasized, that we have to work, collaborate with each other, and I would like to see that it happens, because we are having synergy between you and us. If spindles go down, production goes down, cotton trade will not be there. Farmer will not grow cotton. So you find your business also getting it. Maybe you can switch over to some other trade, but we have to close down the factories which we have invested a lot of money. Already in this country, 6 million spindles have already stopped, closed down, and I don't hope out of that single spindle will be coming back in production. And rather, I am predicting that another 4 to 5 million spindles may face closure in next 1 year. if the situation does not turn around. Situation is not that good from India's perspective, because as on today, as I will mention later, that our cotton prices have become non-viable in competition to others. We had the advantage of availability of raw material at a reasonable price on the whole, maybe in the last 10-15 years. I have got an analysis, 15-year analysis, you see that we normally have been, average cotton price in India has been in the range of 3 to 5 cents higher over New York future. Not a outlook, not landed cost, but New York future, where the spread has to be added to the importing countries. That means 12 to 14 cents. That means virtually cotton to us was about 8 to 9 cents per pound cheaper within, because we also have to incur logistic costs for export of yarn and fabric or garments. So, raw material in spinning accounts for largest factor cost ranging from 55 to 62% depending upon the prices prevailing in the world market. Indian cotton production undoubtedly has increased over a long period, as you are knowing that we have already reached 340 or 320, and as the President said that we should aim at, we had crossed 400 also, they come back because of the lowering of productivity since the certain insects disease attack happened. And this year, unfortunately, I do hear that North India may be witnessing a decline in the acreage considerably. In Punjab at least, I mean the acreage will come down by more than half. So this will be, I mean, and the same thing can happen everywhere, but I'll elaborate it further. But seemingly, as we also emerged net exporter in the recent year. I think we started exporting cotton. But seemingly the situation is changing much to our disappointment, unless we take corrective measures. Now I am going to present a few facts about the cotton, which I like to elaborate. Cotton is grown widely, as the President said, over 10 states. So its availability remains to the mills for a longer period than anywhere else. Starting from September, October, the arrival keeps on happening up to March. Okay, everybody may take a decision knowing their own calculation as to whether I have to stock for 6 months or 7 months or 5 months or 4 months. But luckily, availability is there for a longer period, and therefore, I mean, people can buy the cotton from the source like gin and take it into stock or for their consumption. So 5-6 months we can feed ourselves based on the arrivals even, I can tell you, no matter what the price situation. So there will be no worry for the mills. So 4-5 months we have to depend on the trade to hold it, or for you to hold it together with them. Second fact about cotton in India is that cotton quality has also improved if I look back, because I am talking from 1970. My experience is when maybe you were there in the trade or some of you were there, and at that time there used to be F414 and LSS, yeah. These varieties were very common in those days, and nowhere these varieties will come near to the present J34, less than 1 inch. And so we used to feel very happy when we used to get 1 inch cotton, can you believe it? And today, nobody will use 1 inch cotton for even making 20s. It's always more than 27 or 28 millimeter cottons that we use. So we have worked those cottons, and we know at that time, and then the breakage rate is very high, and the speeds were very low. Technology was also not that strong as now it has. All combination of forces have helped us to improve productivity and quality of yarn. Like MCU, as Shankar 6, MCU5, etc., and DCH undoubtedly giving us a leverage for fine count yarns. This helped the industry to improve yarn quality and productivity and to put us at par with countries using imported cotton. So far, cotton quality goes, other than contamination. I will not put our cotton equal to that, but that is a much bigger disease that we have, or a deficiency shortfall we have. That contamination is a big issue. Cotton season, as I mentioned, is really very long and availability of cotton remains assured from the market, and it reduces the risk of investment, and you can take your decision over a longer period, seeing world market situation. Another cardinal, very important factor is the productivity as referred by the president of the association, Mr. Gundraji, is on fire, abysmally low, as he said, lowest. I am not saying I do not know, but I say abysmally low because when we look back, Brazil, Australia, China, and USA, yields are far better. World average may be more than 800 kilos. It used to be 750 at one time, now maybe more than 800 because Brazil has also improved the yield now, more than 2000 kilos. Australia has also 2000 kilos. The one problem which we need to view in the future that may make us less viable in the international context, there is no denying the fact that the farmer's interests have to be protected, failing which he will shift. So we cannot allow him to suffer. Even if we have to accept short-term suffering, it is desirable for us to do that than to put the burden on him, because that can be temporary for today, and tomorrow he will have no cotton, and where will you go? So this is my issue. So both things have to be seen. As a spinner, I cannot therefore say, please do not increase the MSP. Even the government says MSP has to be raised because the input costs have gone up in competition to other crops. And if I am a short-term thinker, another thing, if I am a long-range thinker, then I am able to protect him because he is my provider of cotton. The question is, then how to protect your own interest? So no denying that there will be increase in MSP, and we have to accept that gracefully, which may be 5% or more, because that is what I have seen historically. Government has been granting this MSP because input costs have been rising, land prices, fertilizer, or other input costs. Unless the productivity is increased and the cost of cotton cultivation can be brought down, it will be difficult to envisage that there can be a higher degree of stability in Indian cotton prices. This is my view. The cardinal factor is productivity. It is very vital to determine our viability. This is a fundamental issue. I have tried to project that if the present productivity continues, now I have tried to project future 5 years. If the present productivity continues and MSP keeps on increasing at 5% and rupee devaluation continues at 2%, then cotton cost to the gin will be not less than 95 cents to $1. 95 cents to $1 per pound. Are we prepared to face that situation? With the country we afford, when the New Year future, I am predicting on an average, because if you see the 15-year data, 2 years only when New Year future has gone above $1. Otherwise, it has varied from 60 cents to 75 cents, and nowadays it is from 70 cents to 85 cents. So if that scenario is there before us, then where do we stand in competitiveness sense? We may say Mr. Oswal is hardworking, comes at 9 o'clock, but what can you do with the time only? You can come and worry about it, that's all. So better take a pill and sleep down. So this is a situation, I am raising not a spectre of ghost about this, but these are hard reality which we may have to face if we do not, as Mr. President has said, that let's go and meet the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Textile to emphasize this point, that if you if you don't defend the industry now, this industry will gradually be declining. Maybe every year 5 or 6 million spindles like this. At least we present it to them. Let the policy maker decide whether they want it to happen or they are feeling that we are creating unnecessary fear about it. It's a realistic assessment. I am talking about database. I am not talking out of, hypothetical calculation. unless somebody can say MSP will not increase by more than by just 4 to 5%. It's a given fact. And after the farmer agitation, as you see what is happening, I mean, politicians are always prone to take decisions which are favoring them also politically. Let's be candid about it. Let's not say that, look, I mean, they will look at the national interest. National interest doesn't mean only textile industry, it means farmer. And we ourselves may say, no, please protect him also, because if he goes away, where shall I get the cotton? Can we import all that we need, 6 million ton every year? Not possible. And then how shall we be competitive? Why Vietnam is more competitive? Bangladesh, which is sitting very near the ports, our industry is very near the port. So we are scattered all over the country. We are in North and Central India, South, and we are the. So I think we have to see these realities which today, I mean, starkly face us. We lose sight of it, okay, we will be overtaken by what happens.